No, it's. I mean, of what? The Apple thing?
Absolutely, the Apple thing.
No, it's.
Apple Apple Maps is terrible.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Horrible.
No. Because I can literally type in what I want and it'll show me all the locations of everything.
Google Maps is the same thing. It doesn't drive you into the freaking river.
It doesn't drive me into the river either. It drove me into the creek and I got out.
No, you didn't because your
not
Jeep's in the
PJ.
shop.
Shut up.
It's not so great whenever the shoe's on the other foot, is it?
Did you see his picture? Oh, you didn't see his picture the other day.
No, I'm not on fuck off book.
So, wow, early with the F-bomb today. Holy cow.
Yeah.
But
Like you said, I'm salty today.
he took a picture.
He's salty because I'm going to make more money than him.
So the picture was a good picture. I won't deny that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look down at his speedometer, he's doing 50 on his motorcycle.
In a 45. I was doing 50 in a 45.
So
I wouldn't even bring out the speed. I don't even know what the speed limit was. I don't care.
Exactly. So what's the matter?
why
It's
were you
taking the picture, riding your motorcycle.
It was a nice sunset.
So pull over.
It was on Shoto.
I'll bet you one of these guys. Tasty, tasty.
No.
There was a lot of stupid in that boy.
It was on Shoto. I couldn't pull over. And I only could get it in like this certain little window because of all the stupid trees and power lines.
That's how people wreck their bikes. You know, I know that.
And that's how
I've
people
seen it.
die.
And you'd be fine with that, wouldn't you? Yeah.
I might cry a little.
A little.
I'd go to
Yeah.
your funeral.
I mean, I'd feel sad for the bike.
Only because I'm having a kegger for a funeral. It's in my will. Kegger and fireworks. Because here's the thing.
It's gonna be fun. God, I hope
Dude,
you don't
here's-
die on the 4th because I love fireworks. And I want 2 days of them.
Here's the thing. You think about it like, hey, you remember so-and-so's graduation party? Remember so-and-so's wedding? Remember how smashed we were? How cool is it? He said, dude, you remember Moran's funeral? We were fucking trashed.
So what happens if I throw an M80 into the casket?
Great. Remember the time we threw an M80 in Moran's casket at his funeral?
And we all giggled.
Yeah, that's a story. That's how you live on. That. Yeah.
I have no words.
I wonder if it'd be an open casket.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Closed.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, it's going to be closed.
So I have to open it to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you get to watch the lid go.
You know what? I think I might go half stick.
Right? Like,
Just to see what happens.
dude, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me a rager for a funeral is not the best way to go out.
Why don't you just Joe Diffie it?
Dude, fine by me. Prop me up to the jukebox during the rager. I don't care.
I figure we could set him in a truck. We'll put him in his truck.
Great. Cool. You put me in the Jeep, but it'd be a shot.
Pickup, man.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's a little weird, man.
My
It's a little morbid conversation. We're
No,
having
it's
here.
not. We're talking about having a rager.
Nobody says rager anymore.
Oh, what do you call it, Grandpa? A shindig? A hootenanny?
And with that, welcome to the Washdown podcast.
Welcome to Louisiana, y'all. Sorry, Louisiana.
We're back on site in Jeremy's hometown filming.
I'm your host, Jeremy Green. With me, co-host Chris Nelson, and our producer, Mr. James Moran.
Hello.
Yeah.
Rager.
Is it going to be at the Piggly Wiggly?
Do we even still have those?
No, it's a Winn-Dixie.
There is. I think there's one still.
Do you have Kroger's? Or is that like a West Coast thing?
Yeah, that's
No, there's some in Illinois.
Y'all got Sunfreshes?
No. We had, so the grocery stores close where I grew up were,
You had IGA. Please be IGA.
No, we had a Winn-Dixie and a Stanley's.
Clint's Thrift Shop. Just got air conditioning a couple of years ago.
And the Walmart. And then whenever I was about 11 or 12, it became a super Walmart.
No.
See, I kind of see you as a venture guy.
I have no idea what that is.
It was the original Walmart. Kmart. Venture was black and it looked like the referee was black and white was the stripes.
We didn't have that in the South.
You didn't have Ventures? Those were awesome.
Oh, we had one in Harrisonville. I remember that.
Again, didn't have one in the South.
Y'all missed out. It was like a Kmart on steroids. Awesome.
Yeah.
So
We didn't have Kmart either.
You didn't have Blue Light Specials?
Good Lord. You guys were deprived down there.
Hey, we head to Walmart. It's got everything you need.
It's kind of like...
God, no wonder it's hot as hell, because it is hell. That makes more sense.
I never understood why it was so
You
hot.
talk about post-traumatic stress. Hell, I have post-traumatic stress moving from Louisiana. God.
It wasn't
It's,
that bad.
it's
nice.
just a different way of life, and it's not so focused on stuff.
Who said the Midwest is focused on stuff?
You guys just named like 50 different stores that you had, and you didn't have that. You were deprived.
We just had more options.
Yeah, and we didn't have dirt floors. Argue me. Come on.
We didn't have dirt floors either. There's no way we could have dirt floors in Louisiana
No, they had
because we'd
swampy
be
floors.
standing in water.
It's below sea level.
I didn't have to worry about gators eating my dog.
I didn't have to worry about that
Just
either.
mountain
where I grew
lions and bobcats now.
up. Yeah.
And
You just had to worry
rattlesnakes.
about snakes.
Yep, I'm out.
Yeah.
Did you ever smoke a gator?
No.
Did you see the station that smoked a gator the other day?
I saw that. I wanted to go down there and try it. Yeah. I like gator.
I heard it was really good.
It's good.
They won Firehouse Meal of the Week.
It wasn't.
No, they won it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I imagine. Look, I'll
They
show
like
you- I'll show you-
overnighted it. They said pay like $200 and basically like overnighted you a gator. And I'm like,
Let's see.
nice.
See if I can find
Yeah. I don't need that.
that. Oh, it was
I just want the postman to bring me a gator.
I like gator.
Now, was it alive and you had to butcher it yourself?
I don't know.
or-
I don't know. How do you like? Cause with lobster, it comes.
That was the before picture.
Oh, so it was dead and skinned already.
Yeah. They didn't go on. There's no gators around here. You had to go to the zoo,
Well,
and that's highly illegal.
yeah. I'm surprised they shipped it like that and just didn't ship the meat. But yeah, so they had to butcher it themselves and stuff. Or
I
they just smoked the whole gator. I
smoked the whole
guess.
gator.
Yeah, here's the gator on the smoker.
Yeah, dude, there's just something messed up about that.
It's
I'm
a gator
sorry.
on a smoker.
I know, but it's still, that's just weird.
Just because it's your national treasured animal down there doesn't mean it can't be eaten.
I didn't say you couldn't eat it. I just said it looks weird.
It's a gator
It still had the head
on a
on it.
smoker.
Still had the head on it. I'd say.
How else do you know it's a gator if it doesn't have the head on it?
Oh, you're right. It could have just been a.
Could have been a
large
crocodile.
iguana.
Could have been a crocodile
Well, right.
Large iguana.
I'm sure they.
or a
they-
large iguana.
Yeah, I'm sure they all taste totally different.
What
You ever had smoked iguana?
No.
Exactly.
do you remember who posted the picture of the meal without saying names?
Chippy.
So anyway, since we're short
I
on
think I'm friends with him.
time,
Yeah, you're gonna have to look that one up
yeah,
to show Jeremy the meal. So what did you want to talk about something important today?
yeah,
I
and
found
I
an
want you to speak right into the microphone.
And you do that thing again that we told you not to do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you speak right in the microphone?
Yeah.
Sorry, trying.
No, you're not. You're really not. You're on your phone.
Also, before we get started, please,
pulling up the article.
please in the comment section leave us whether you use Apple Maps or Google Maps. I need to hurry up and win this argument.
You know what? If we had more than 2 comments over the last 23 shows, then I might be scared.
You know, if we
But
put
we
your
only
face
had
behind the
2.
camera, we might have more than 2 comments.
Hey, the one that's airing next week, I'm off the camera.
I know. Finally,
I am
finally.
more than happy to sit behind the desk and let
bet you
sit over here.
I bet you that video
Uh-huh.
has more comments than any of the other videos we've had.
How many fake
Why
accounts
are-
do you have, James?
Yeah.
All right.
Ruined his plan already.
So everybody sitting at this table has had something happen at some point in their life,
Yes.
and they've talked to somebody or been in a treatment facility and gotten help.
Yes.
And after that, changes have been made to what they've done, how they are, how they act, how they think, how they interact with people, which is something that you brought up the other day
Yeah. Well,
as PTG or post-traumatic
post-traumatic
growth.
yeah.
So I'm going to let you take that ball now
All right.
because I'm tired of you guys arguing.
Well, so here's the
It's
thing.
not an argument if you're right.
And so I watch a lot of different podcasts, and through my wife, I'm exposed to a lot of that stuff. By and large, and it seems even in social media, in the news, or everywhere, everybody wants to focus on the post-traumatic stress or post-traumatic stress disorder. Nobody wants to talk about the growth. It's like they just completely forget about it. Like,
And
You
it's
do-
a very important stage with
well,
it, too.
as far as I'm concerned, it's the most important stage because,
You don't want to revert.
well, it shows that you get through it. You recover. It's no different if you think about it as an injury, right? So you think about it like a knee injury, okay? You heal from a knee injury. You're going to heal.
Yes.
Now, sometimes you're not going to be exactly how you were before, and especially in mental health issues, that's something that probably people need to accept and understand, is that you are not going to be the person you were before. You can't be. You have to grow and evolve, and you should be doing that anyway, just throughout the course of your life. But whenever you go through these traumatic things or you see this stuff, and then you go through treatment, or even not treatment, just the natural progression, right?
Yeah.
You have to grow and evolve. So you're going to be different. You're going to have those experiences, and that's what builds resiliency. But yeah, nobody talks about being healed.
I'm interesting. We can make the jokes about, you're Southern or whatnot, but something I've always noticed, especially having like an ex-wife from the Southern culture, so many things aren't talked about. It is very much like a lot of subjects are behind closed doors, whether it be marital problems, money issues, mental health.
See, I think that's in the Midwest as well.
Yeah.
We're
that
very comparable
tracks.
to the South. I mean, yeah, we're in the Midwest, but we're more Southern leaning.
Yeah, and it's
A lot of things.
It's interesting how it's almost it's very similar to an injury, like you said, right? So, remember Alex Smith, the quarterback used to be the Kansas City Chiefs and then Redskins.
Washington Redskins, yes.
Had
It's
a terrible
Washington football team now.
yeah, Washington football team.
It's the Washington Redskins.
Terrible injury, right?
Yeah.
Damn near lost his leg over it.
Almost lost his life over it.
Yeah. Now, over the last 2 years, or a year and a half, 2 years, I guess 2 years now.
About 2 years, yeah.
What did we focus on? What was the story of Alex Smith?
The recovery.
The recovery.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, if it's mental health, it's flip-flopped.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fascinating to me, truly. Like it.
Well,
So-
and I think that's got to be something like, because it's not seen, like it's an injury that you can't see. I mean, you can see like the manifestations of it. You can see the drinking, that type of stuff, the symptoms basically.
Mhm.
But like whenever you're recovered, there's no like there's not an obvious scar. There's not.
There's even those obvious there's no visible improvement.
Well, and I
you
won't
can
say that.
Well, but like sports injuries. Look at me jump up on this box that I couldn't jump up on 2 weeks ago. Look at
Right.
me, like
Because it's not physical.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I get where you're going.
And in
with
a
that.
society that's so much immediate information and
Yeah, you want immediate results, immediate feedback.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
not the way it works.
you're not going to see that with mental health.
Yeah.
So here's the study I found, and I went through a lot of scholarly.
Scholarly.
Thank you.
Let's just say one vocabulary.
I don't know why I struggle with it all of a sudden.
And he's going to have a degree.
I do have a degree. It's awesome. It had nothing changed. But I went through a lot. I mean, I didn't just do the first page of Google. I went through
Right.
multiple pages deep. So this was a study that was done with 77 participants. 64 of them, or 83%, actually had post-traumatic growth. And then it even breaks it down. I don't know where did it go. Of who the participants were. And it was a fairly good study because you had one person living, everybody was over age 18.
Talking to the mic.
One was living with psychosis and not using mental health services. 2 were using mental health services and from the black and minority ethnic communities. That's not numbers, but these are where they were put in there. 3 were identified as lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. And also there was employed and peer roles using their lived experience with others. The 77 participants were made up of 42 female and 44 white British males.
That's a pretty interesting little group.
Yeah, so it kind of encompasses everything. I'm not saying it was one person, or it wasn't 3 people who identified as gay, lesbian. It was that was one of the categories. So I'm sure multiple people hit multiple categories.
Yeah.
And so 83% of them experienced post-traumatic growth.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good number out of that small group. So 64 of 77. And then, of course, it goes on with how they did the study and all of that. But
Jeremy, I want to ask you a question. Chris, you've been in treatment. We all have been. I'm curious. I think my answer is going to be different than your guys's.
Why?
Because I don't think I went about it the right way.
Okay.
Well, I guess it's like a statement question or
Okay.
statement with follow up I wanted from you guys. But like when I went into treatment, I hated it. Tell you what, like random, but it's the little things that stick out to me. All the food there was like sugar free and it made me sicker than shit. Like trying to switch back to normal food afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the people there were crazier than me or worse than me. I don't want to say I didn't take it seriously, but I never truly bought in. And I was so miserable there by what I thought was just the stupidity of it that I forced myself into growth as to not go back there versus as to actually make the improvements I needed to. And it took, one could even argue, and I bet if you had my ex-wife on here, she would even say, it probably took up to the divorce before I really threw in the self-reflection and the self-thought that was needed that I probably should have had originally leaving before I started to make improvements. For so long, it was just like mental health improvement by abstinence, basically. You know what I mean? Before I ever really started practicing safe mental health. I know it's a terrible analogy, but you see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was interested now, within your program, though, it was more geared towards first responders and things like that. I wonder, like, if you wanted the personal growth because you felt it was more tailored and more desirable for, like, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah, for me, I kind of had the mindset or like the space where I was at where I felt like I didn't have any choice. I could not continue with how I was. And I didn't like myself, how I was. So it was basically like, okay, I'm just going to take all this information and figure it out because I want to be better. I don't know what better is, but I know what worse was, and it was pretty awful. And so I think it helped with having a couple people in there that I could really, like, I had a lot in common with, and kind of not ride their coattails a little bit, but see what they were doing, how they were doing stuff right, and how they were doing stuff wrong. That kind of helped me. And yeah, I mean, being in a program specifically for police, fire, and military, I think definitely did make a huge difference for me because the time that I spent inpatient before I got there was miserable.
Yeah.
Because I was in with, I guess we'll call it Gen Pop.
And
it was horrible.
That's how I felt about it. I felt like jail. I felt like that dude that said, I ain't going back to jail. But that doesn't necessarily mean I changed my criminal behavior. It just means that I changed it just enough not to get caught to go back to jail.
Going to visit Jeremy when he was in the inpatient where he started, it was like jail. You had to sign in, you had to wait, you got a badge.
Yeah.
Let in, let out.
I ain't going back to jail.
Stay right here.
Yeah. And it was
you can't take anything in, which, I mean, I get that part, but.
Yeah. And it was a small area.
Yeah. And it smelled.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That was.
I was like, ooh, I know that smell.
That off camera.
Like, I know that smell.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I will say this though, like.
And so that was my whole experience with the whole thing. And that's why I just was like, Gee.
It definitely made it made me
a man.
Well, it made me uncomfortable for sure, and uncomfortable enough to where, I don't want to go back, and I know what got me there. And so luckily,
Well, you got caught.
yeah, and the behaviors. So I know what got me there. I'm not going to do that again. So I took the information, in the program and applied it.
I don't know that I ever, in my instance, and this is what kind of concerns me with a lot of mental health and why I love culture-specific and tailored-specific programs kind of like yours. I feel like I may be in the majority. It's just such a broad net we're casting with all the individuals with all their own individual stories that land up in this same cesspool, damn near, that like no one can ever really truly get the treatment necessary, because it's like my story is different from your story is different from your story, and they cannot be treated the same.
Right.
And when they are with just a generic brush, I think we're not necessarily setting people up for growth and success as much as we're just deterring them.
Well, and I think that's where people need to be not afraid to shop around for a therapist.
It goes back to that cultural competency.
Well, it's not even cultural competency. It's like a mechanic. So think about it that way. You take your car to a mechanic, and let's say you have a Jeep. Are you going to take your Jeep to somebody who only works on Fords? No.
At this point, I'll do anything.
The guy that works on Fords would be the best mechanic in the world because they're always broken.
Well, yeah, but you get my point.
Yeah.
No, your point makes sense.
You're going to take it somewhere where there's a specialist, right? So, but let's say you take it to a Jeep mechanic, but he only works on Jeep Cherokees and you have a Jeep Wrangler. So you need to keep searching until you find that one mechanic that can fix the not fix.
It only works on JKs.
Well, and that's kind of bad.
No, it's a perfect. It
you
truly is.
because a
you want the
therapist.
expert.
Well, yes, you want the expert, but my point is, or what I'm trying to say, a lot of people expect you're going to go to therapy and they expect the therapist to fix their problem. That is not how it works. You fix your problem. The therapist will give you tools.
They're a guide.
Yeah, they're a guide. That's all they are. And that's something that people need to realize, that you have to put in work. If you don't put in the work, and that's continuing work, you continue to use your coping skills, you continue to, have healthy habits, whatever it may be, if you don't continue those and continue that homework, then that's how you end up back where you were in the first place.
I think I think it just as much applies. Something that we need to talk about is medication as well. I mean, it's a whole new spectrum, but at the same time, it's really not like a pill will not solve the problem.
No.
It's
A
another
pill
tool
by
in the
itself.
toolbox.
Yeah. A pill
Yeah.
by itself,
need
medication
it.
by itself will not solve the problem. And there are very specific mental health issues that require medication because a person has, a chemical imbalance or whatever it may be. The problem is a lot of those medications that they push for mental health, once you get on them, you can never get off of them. The withdrawals, the side effects.
Especially with the SSRIs. Just when people,
Yeah.
I feel fine, I'm stopping taking them. Well,
Yeah.
I better start taking them again. Whoop.
Yeah.
And what people don't realize is that what turns into this, by the end,
Yeah.
you're like this. And
I had a friend that took them back in the day when we were younger, and he would do that. Then we'd spend 2-3 days looking for him,
Yeah.
and it was
they're dangerous.
he was a big guy, and
Yeah.
not somebody you want to get
Well,
a hold of you.
and that's also
So it
the
made it
thing
worse.
where as they're taking that medication, they also need to be seeing a therapist or counselor.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Well, he would, but the thing was,
he would feel
I
better.
feel
and-
great.
Yeah.
And then the alcohol would start,
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, you start finding out he's not taking his pills,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see the change.
Yeah.
You want, you're like, take your pills, man. You got to. And then next thing you know, we're running the city looking for them.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's common.
Yeah, we did it a lot.
It's not.
Because we don't educate. I mean, we educate, but we don't educate.
Well, some of that's education, and some of it is just that's people.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
that is people.
It's hard to
that
stay
goes back to the
compliant with
instant
that.
gratification thing. Like, I want to feel. I feel better.
Yeah.
Like,
Compliance with that is hard
we
'cause
wouldn't
you-
do it like. Here's the thing: if we're lifting weights, right, and we're trying to bench a goal, you don't reach your goal and say, "I'm good." Like you keep working, you maintain it. Like, you don't just say, "I got to where I wanted. I'm going to get lazy again." Now, nobody does that.
Oh, you mean you have to continue to put in work?
Yeah, and it's
No. You just get right the hell out.
but it's
Are you using the workout thing because you know Jeremy likes to be in the gym for 27 hours?
yeah. I've been working out lately. Okay, shut
You
up.
should have seen him the other day. I saw him on a call. He was having a cut-off shirt and everything.
Hey, man, sun's out, guns out. It was like the one sunny day we had in the last month. I don't blame him.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you do push-ups before you went on the call to get your swole on?
We were doing a bunch of stuff, and I had my shirt in the rig, and we were in like the reserve rig, so it like fell down and then just fell out, and I was like, oh.
Bye-bye shirt.
Then I was like, I look like a douchebag.
So normal?
And then I was like, please cancel us on this call. Please cancel us on this call. But it's a truck company, so they don't really know what to do. So they're like, oh, let's go wait for the bumper to get here.
Hey,
That's not all truck companies, just
It's just Jeremy's truck company.
and it's only Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy, what do you want to do? I don't know. We should
Hey.
wait for the real heroes.
So
to
I
get
saw the
here.
video of his first fire. He actually did it. I don't know what to do. I'm new.
what?
You know you were being filmed?
No, I didn't know
Yeah, I'll
that.
show you the video later.
Okay, great.
And then you got the guy recording like, this guy couldn't even bring donuts on his first day.
It
Yeah,
was actually Scooby recording.
I don't think he knows who that is.
I know who it is. You guys are dicks. Four cars.
Oh, I'm off. I'll tell you, I've been drinking. After 48 hours, first day, I got home.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
So, yeah, but I think that's a thing with our culture in general, though, is that the idea of continuing to work hard at something isn't really there. And you
I
see
do-
that with the rise of social media, the like influencers and all of that stuff. You've got people that are famous for nothing.
Instant gratification.
It's instant gratification is what it is, and that's what people see, and that's what people want. They don't understand, and I'm not saying that those influencers or whatever that they don't work hard. I'm sure it's it's hard work or whatever. I don't know. But I mean,
200
there's
times hitting that picture button.
exactly. Well, and then there's editing and all of that stuff, and I don't know if they all do it themselves or whatever, but. I mean, it's still work. We talked about that the other day of how, musicians, how you get that overnight success. Well, that guy's been playing in a bar for 20 years, waiting on his shot.
He's been writing songs and
Yeah.
other artists, watching other artists make money on
Yeah.
a lot of more money
I
than
do
he's
wonder,
making.
though,
Yeah.
Jeremy, what of that in our line of work, really, ER nursing, law enforcement, fire and EMS? It sometimes I do wonder what's ingrained,
The mic.
what's ingrained in us. Just because, like, we are immediate problem solvers. Like, oh, look at this problem. It's better than it was. We've done our job.
Right.
And we forget, like, we don't think about, when it comes to, like, EMS, it's better than it was when we got it. We don't think about the time they spend in the ER, for example, or then the time they spend in the ICU. And even after they're out of the woods there, then the time they spend in maybe a step-down unit, rehabbing and things like that. And it's not ingrained in us daily, so when it comes to other problems, even some of them may be our own, we're just like, oh, it's better than it was. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and we've talked about that of how with our job, we're primed for instant results.
There's also complacency.
Yeah.
We all get very complacent, and that includes when, with the mental health. How many times you say, I'm doing good. I'm not going to talk about this. I don't need to talk about this problem or that problem.
Yeah.
I got this because I've done the X, Y, and Z.
I'm eating this big meal. I'm going to eat this big meal. I'm going to eat this big meal. Fire.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That does suck. Well, I'm going to taste this and smell it in my mask.
Well, that's where self-control and proper preparation comes in.
Yeah.
When you don't eat that healthy tofu stuff that you eat, and you actually eat real food that has flavor, it's hard not to get that second helping because it tastes so good.
Yeah.
Not really. You just enjoy the first helping.
Yeah, but you enjoy it so much, you got to get a little bit more.
Were you trying to justify enjoying tofu?
I do not eat tofu.
Sure you don't.
Okay, rice cakes, whatever.
Rice cakes really aren't bad. Especially you put some peanut butter on it.
It's like eating cardboard.
A little honey.
So it's like eating cardboard with peanut butter on it. Cool.
You got to get the caramel rice cakes.
You literally realize you could throw those rice cakes in the recycling bins and they would pick them up, right? That's cardboard.
Yeah. If you glue them together, you can make your own box to pack stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like I got a package.
I'm not going to take any type of health advice from you two. I've never seen you work out. I've seen you work out.
I get a day here and there.
Yeah.
At least we can cut.
I'm not
those.
impressed.
What?
What? You said you can what?
Nothing. You said you're not impressed.
What'd you say? Go
Honey.
ahead. Say it for the camera.
Oh, deal. You and me on a roof, I will outcut a hole of you any day of the week. Any day of the week.
I see a video we could post on Facebook.
That sounds like a challenge.
Oh, it's not a challenge. You will be challenged. I will not be.
Okay, so whose roof are we going to use to cut a hole?
Don't even care. We can use a ladder. We can not use a ladder. Do not care.
How
you
are we
really
gonna-
feel-
how are we going to not use a ladder on
You going
it?
to jump on the roof?
No, I'm saying like while we're on the roof. Like use a scaler. I don't care.
I just asked whose roof we were going to use.
Don't care.
Well, he doesn't care. We'll use his roof.
Cool.
We'll stop by the station close to your house, get a couple axes.
You know what? I'm willing to buy the axes just to see this. That way we're not procuring other
They
equipment.
got extra axes.
And when I win,
Uh-huh.
we're going to have some fun on this show.
Okay.
And you're not going to like it.
Okay.
We're going to have like strobe lights and
No, we're good. Back to your point, though.
My point was post-traumatic growth. It needs to be talked about.
yes.
You can
very much
heal.
so.
You can live a full life. You can be better than you were before everything started.
And
You
you
will
keep-
be different.
You keep growing.
Yeah. You keep growing. And,
But
you know,
different's good.
I was having a conversation the other day with somebody kind of about this. And, you know, it's one of those things where you go through something like this and you make it out the other side. Again, like I said, you build that resilience, but then you're also able, and I'm not saying you have to whatever, but you have the ability to say, okay, hey, look, I was going through the same thing. This is what I did. I made it out the other side.
Yep.
So you're able to take that adversity and turn it into a positive for somebody else,
Very
which
much
is
so.
what we do on our job anyway.
So this same study that we were talking about earlier, it had major themes that it discovered during the study.
Yeah.
So the first theme was self-discovery. They found that everybody pretty much discovered themselves, and like they didn't like themselves, they weren't comfortable in their own skin, and then they did, and then they learned to be comfortable in who they were, which I know we've talked about that
Yeah.
before. And then the second theme was a sense of self. More positive sense of self involved integration and valuing of illness experiences. So a repeated theme was pride in oneself as a person. I mean, it's all stuff you try and learn as a kid. We learned to play in sports.
Yeah.
At least I did. That was one of the lessons I took away from that.
Yeah.
Third theme, life perspective. Identified a new or renewed appreciation of or gratitude about aspects of life. So for some, this was a general sense of appreciation.
I'm curious about that, though. Where I feel like there's a fine line there. As in, like, I'm going through a bad time, and all of a sudden I started working out, right? And I feel great. And that's my thing. I feel good when I work out. But sometimes, two things I worry about there. It can become an addiction, and my sense of self-worth then becomes attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's where I do want to, like, I kind of found myself in that last summer, or, last year, first kind of full year into the divorce, started traveling a bunch. Had a blast. Spent a lot of money. Went a lot of cool places.
Yeah.
That's not always necessarily sustainable. And I've had very in-depth self-thought to realize, like, I can't depend on that all the time for my sense of peace, my sense of self-worth, finding myself again. Like,
Right.
it helped a lot.
But that all goes back into your growth. So you're going to do things. So as you're learning about how to grow and deal with whatever it is you got to deal with, you're going to go down a path. And that path is going to work and it's going to be great. And then you're going to go too far. But you got to be able to recognize and be able to pull back, knowing that, hey, this might be a different path that I'm on, but I'm going in kind of the same, it's kind of turning that same direction where I had an issue. And that's part of your growth. Because now you're able to recognize that and correct the ship.
It's like self-control and not having that second helping.
Shut up.
Screw you.
No, but I get your point.
I bet I outlived that guy. What do you think?
Yeah, because I'll kill him.
Well, that's cheating, but okay.
It's only cheating if you do it. It's not cheating if I do it.
All right. The fourth thing.
Yeah.
You got more?
Yeah. To, better or kind of follow along on your point. Yeah, you learn that, and you will learn through treatment and all that stuff. One coping skill, just having one, it's never going to work. You need multiple, because this one may work for a while.
You need a Jeep. You need a bike.
Again, that's all the same thing, though.
Hey,
it's
we've
different.
almost got him talking to buying an
manifestations.
RV or a fifth wheel. So just, all right.
Yeah. So you have to have multiple
That's
avenues.
what grooming looks like.
You have to have multiple avenues, right? Multiple tools in your tool bag to use. And so that way you can switch it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, like you said, you have to recognize, okay, hey, and like you said, it's not sustainable. No, I can't go on a 2-week trip every month.
Bullshit, but yeah.
Right. I mean, if you're independently wealthy, then absolutely.
Or you have unlimited overtime at your disposal.
Well, yeah, but then you just bring back that burnout problem.
And I think one of the
2 weeks off.
You're right. We can't. One of the coping mechanisms I think too has to be ourselves, right? We can say working out is one. We can say friends is one. We can say traveling is one. But like, I think self-reflection and self-thought and alone time has to be one as well. You have to be able to function in that space inside your own head for self-reflection instead of just distracting yourself by fun coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
That's where your sense of self comes in.
Yeah.
So there's another tool in the toolbox. Like theme 4 was well-being. So they were active engagement and managing well-being and lifestyle. So like, let's see here. Because it's got people talking about it. That was part of the study.
Well, and that's part of forming healthy habits.
Yeah. Relationships.
Yeah.
That's a big one here in this theme 5. The changes in relationships.
Yeah.
My wife brought that up. I mean, I'm still a dick every now and then. But that's just being in a relationship. You're going to have bad days.
Yeah.
Like, overall, I'm not getting mad about things I used to. I'm calmer. I still got my rants, but they're more funny than anything.
Well, I guess comedy is individually,
Like sometimes I wouldn't say that like
You gotta have a sense of humor to judge
That-
comedy.
my sense of humor has gotten a lot more broad. Like what I used to think was just such bullshit. Like, God, this sucks. And I'm like, this sucks. Like you do at least find humor in it the more it carries on.
well, and I think that's perspective, because once you come out the other side, your perspective will change and your priorities will change, and things that may have seemed like the end of the world to you that got you spun out aren't such a big deal. And that's part of because your perspective has changed. You're able to cope with those things better, and changing perspectives is not the worst thing in the world. I mean, I think, that old saying, take a chill pill.
Do you know that saying though? You personally, do you actually know that saying?
No.
That's what I thought.
Known him a long time.
I know that saying.
I mean, you remember Bad Boys 2?
I mean, I'm sure you've heard it a lot, but do you know it?
Woosah.
Do you know how many times, like, if I would have met you, like, say, 10 years ago or 11, 12 years ago, you have any idea what I would have done to you?
You'd have loved me.
Been the
I
same
would've-
thing he does now.
Beat the piss out of you.
Yell at me and complain to me all the time?
Wah, 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 wah.
You would have tried. But yeah, I feel you.
Oh, there'd have been no try.
Yeah, you'd have tried.
There
This
is
is
no
literally
try.
Okay, I
Only
got
do.
another. I got another challenge.
Okay.
Oh, we're getting in the ring.
Yep, 5 minutes in the cage.
Okay.
I say you last a minute,
That's what you think?
45 seconds.
I don't know. You're rested. He's not 12. He's got you by 10 or 20 pounds.
I would say
Smack around with the helicopter. a
I'd
couple
say
times.
he's got me by probably about 120 pounds,
What you weigh?
just under 190.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give him a minute.
120, really? Okay.
There's no way he lasts the whole 5.
Okay.
He'll have a heart attack.
So when you train, we'll have like a week, and there's only one way to train if you got a
well,
week.
there's no training.
Montage. little survivor.
And that'll be posted on Facebook as well.
All right, so theme 6. This is a big one in my opinion,
Okay.
and this one's totally on whoever the individual person, and it's spirituality. People that went through this program and the post traumatic growth had a deeper engagement with spirituality, or whether it's religion or however you define that. So just being closer to something above you that's bigger than you. That was a big one for a lot of people. And it gave them another chance to, another tool in that toolbox, another place to lean on, another place to go. And a lot of people aren't religious, and that's fine.
Well, and it also, it can widen up community.
Yeah. And for me, like, it's not a denomination thing as far as your religious belief.
Yeah. No,
Or-
I mean, that's just,
I mean, the yin and yang, because you're going to ebb and flow with your mental health growth.
yeah.
Good days and bad days. But if you have somebody there who, like when we had Daniel on,
Yeah.
his faith is huge.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying, I believe in all that, but his is so much bigger than mine. But I know I can go talk to him, and he gives me a different way to see it. But you got to be open to it.
Yeah.
There's another avenue. I just don't want to work out with him because he's an animal.
Yeah, he works out a lot. So, but yeah, I mean, and that's part of, I think, probably part of shifting perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
and can kind of widen your field of view, so to speak.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all.
I think it's like being on a 2-lane road with no exits or a freeway with a lot of exits.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
easier way to get. I mean, it's not easier to get there. You're still gonna have to do the travel, but you have more options. keep them open.
Yep.
And you get there. You just gotta keep growing. You gotta keep pushing forward. And you know that every once in a while you're gonna get a flat tire.
Yeah.
Hell, your engine may blow.
We're not talking about Jeeps, man.
My,
Couldn't help it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
we're not talking about Jeeps because
Again.
you don't have one. Anyway,
Yeah, I think I got the most money out of all three of us because of that. You got $5. I got 20.
I have my freedom. You two don't. But anyway.
I don't know. I'm pretty free.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get away with a lot. Jeremy can confirm that.
Yeah.
I've been with you. Hold on. Let me write the prices down so I can tell my wife. I've been with you. Hold on. I got to walk over here so I can take my wife to the bathroom. Yeah.
When did I do that?
What does that have to do with freedom?
I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that.
You ever think I want to do that?
Yeah.
Because it's a partnership? We're a team?
We're a team.
It's a different type of team.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be.
She does, she does things you can't do.
He just made it weird.
My wife's a great cook.
We can tell.
I don't have to cook meals. Easy there, McDonald's. I'd say In and Out, but that's a long drive.
Yeah. I'm out.
Yeah, it never was that good. I wasn't a fan.
Well, thank you for tuning into this episode of Washdown. I need to leave. I can't. Thanks. Whatever we say.
Whatever for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't with you people. End this episode now. Let me out of this hell that I'm in.
You know you can't escape hell, right?
I'm gonna try real quick as soon as we hit.
He never
stop
watched
recording.
Lucifer.
Just everything you see on TV on shows like that is not the truth, Chris.
What the truth is In and Out. In and Out is the
Hey,
truth.
man. The truth is out there.
Da-da-da.
That's from X-Files there, James.
That was
Just so you know.
before his time.
I know.
Hey, I didn't watch X-Files. I watched Jag. Okay.
I like Jag, too.
Yeah.
It was a good show.
Jag was cool.
We all have our bad TV that we watched.
What was that one show
You didn't.
in the 90s?
Did you
where
even
they
have
were, I think they were Marines. They were pilots. Like Pensacola or something.
Yeah, Pensacola, like Wings of Gold or
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to watch that all the time because it was on right after Baywatch.
Yeah. Just remember, where I grew up, I only had one TV station.
You had two. We talked about this.
Yeah, so once we
You used
extended
the
the
mower
antenna,
to extend the antenna and you crashed
Yeah.
into a tree.
I didn't crash into a tree, but it makes the story better.
Tell me you're from Louisiana without telling me you're from Louisiana.
Hey, adapt and overcome, okay? We
Would
wouldn't
really adapt?
Well, yeah. I mean, how else were we going to extend the antenna?
I'm pretty sure rednecks
And
had
we
the,
weren't going to pay for satellite because back then you had to get like the huge dish.
So the house my parents are in now, when they bought it, we moved in. It had that big satellite dish. in it.
Yeah.
I remember we hit it with some fireworks one year with our because we had a family reunion,
Yeah.
and by the time we set off fireworks, everybody was drunk.
Typically happens. Safety
And
first.
I was underage, but had really cool cousins. Not advocating for it, different time.
Yeah.
My dad was mad.
Ruin the TV.
No, we weren't. At that point, we had the small one. Then up,
But
but
yeah.
growth.
Growth.
I had fun.
We
today.
took that big satellite dish down, which was a pain. but the yard looks better.
Yeah, those things were monstrosities.
They were ugly, and you had to move it too.
Well, yeah.
I hate satellite TV. Oh, the wind's blowing. I guess we're not watching TV today.
That's literally the definition of like, stay right here for severe weather updates on channel whatever. And then your satellite's like, fuck you.
There was a satellite I always wanted. You remember the movie Stay Tuned with John Ritter?
Vaguely.
He buys a TV from the devil or a demon, whatever, And it sucks, man, that he's got 24 hours to get out, or they keep his soul, whoever's soul's in the TV, and then his wife gets sucked in.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever watched it.
You should look it up.
Yeah, I'm good.
But it had every channel ever.
Yeah.
I can handle that.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for this important message.
It's a shocker.
I've seen the movie too. Stay tuned. I may not be back.
Well,
See, we should have a show about that, watching obscure 80s and 90s movies.
they were terrible. You go back and watch them now, and it's just like, what the?
It's still awesome.
Yeah.
90s were the best generation for movies.
I did watch that in the new movie yesterday, or 2 days ago.
What?
Army of the Dead.
I haven't seen that.
Ah,
I might
good.
watch it today.
It was good.
All right. So, post-traumatic growth, very important. I think we covered it a little bit today, poorly.
You know, with the amount of information out there, it's kind of hard to cover it.
Yeah. It's not talked about. I think it's super important. Look, people, here's the thing. If you go through crap, that's the same. You went through it. You're out the other side. Continue. You don't have to stay in it. You know, don't let your diagnosis or whatever define you. Adapt and overcome, basically. I mean, those are sayings that they've been sayings for a long time because they're true.
Well, anyway, I think with your mental health recovery, some of it's improvising too. Because what works for you two might not work for me, and I've got to come up with a new strategy.
Yeah.
So I got to improvise on what's already there.
Yeah.
And figure it
Well,
out.
and
Kind of like a
we talked
lawnmower
about
and
that.
an antenna.
Yeah. And, you know, as we've talked about before, one treatment plan is not going to work for everybody. It just doesn't exist. We are individuals. Everybody's different.
One thing I thought was cool about the studies when you're reading the discussion part is so 64 out of the 77 had growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
But nobody rejected it out of the 77.
Yeah.
So they all bought into it.
Yeah.
It was just getting there. They didn't see it in the 13.
Yeah. Whatever.
So, but that doesn't mean it's not there. It's
Yeah.
it's still there.
Well, and
it's
who
all
knows?
about getting-
I mean, how
learning
long
oneself.
was that? How long was that study? You know?
I'm not sure. I was trying
Yeah.
to pick out the big part, so I didn't read the whole thing. It was like
Yeah.
30-page study.
But here's the thing: just because they didn't see,
At that point.
measurable growth at the end of the study doesn't mean that later on they didn't.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a topic for another conversation maybe of people who don't experience that growth because they don't want to.
Yeah.
So
and like they said, the biggest narrative. Hang on. It says, but one narrative consistent with the results is the post-traumatic growth involves learning about oneself, learning to a new sense of who one is and one's appreciation of life. So that was consistent across the board,
yeah,
which is awesome.
yeah,
I mean, I thought it was a good research study,
yeah,
and I'd like to see more of them. But again,
Yeah.
now you're talking grants and money and participants and all of that. It's hard to get. So
it is, but
it's a good starting point.
yeah, it's a good starting point, and we just keep talking about it. So, all right, if you're struggling, having a problem, talk to somebody. Resources are out there. Drop us a comment, drop us an email, and thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.